WWE Money in the Bank 2019 is in the books, and I mean, it was an alright pay per view. There were some good matches. One that stands out, though, to me, and I said this on Periscope when I was doing my live reactions play by play, the best match of the night, in my opinion at least. And you guys can let me know down in the comments below what you guys saw the actual pay per view as a whole and the best match of the night. Best match of the night for me was for the Universal Championship, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. Rollins ended up defeating Styles to retain his Universal title, and now it looks like he'll be getting a rematch at WWE Super Showdown in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on June the 7th versus the Beast Incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar. And I'll get more into that here in a little bit, so stay tuned. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke 96, on social media if you haven't done so already. Links are in the description below. We got AEW Double or Nothing coming up this weekend, so I'm very excited to see how that's going to pan out for their first overall show as All Elite Wrestling. They did have All In back in September, but at that point in time, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, along with Chris Jericho as well, who they will all be in action this weekend. They, at that point, especially Cody and the Young Bucks, didn't form AEW, All Elite Wrestling, with Tony Khan. So AEW Double or Nothing on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, May the 25th, out in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand. So as I said, very excited to see what's going to happen there, as WWE now has another competitor, it looks like, but more wrestling is better for the business as a whole, I believe. So also, let me know what you guys think about AEW and Double or Nothing that is coming up this weekend down in the comments below. So, reviewing Money in the Bank here a little bit today. Just going to go over the overall card, all the matches that took place. Did have another segment that was added. It was Lars Sullivan in the Lucha House Party, and he basically just demolished them. I did talk a little at the end as well of the live reaction play-by-play video from Periscope on Sunday when I was doing live reactions play-by-play of Money in the Bank. I did talk a little there at the end of what did happen, so I mean, you guys can go back and watch that as well if you would like, but just going to review it a little bit and then just give my thoughts and opinions on it basically. And then WWE did introduce a new championship on Raw this past Monday as well. Mick Foley introduced the WWE 24/7 Championship, so I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So I'm going to review Money in the Bank and then just real quick go over Raw and SmackDown, because I am only going to be doing, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I haven't really been doing any Raw or SmackDown recaps the past couple weeks. Once again, I've made up my mind. I'm only going to do Raw and SmackDown recaps in the WWE from January to April. From the start of January to the end of April, as we get close to the Royal Rumble, start off the new year, get close to the Royal Rumble, and then on the road to WrestleMania, and then right afterwards. Whether or not the Superstar Shakeup comes back next year after Mania, they have a draft of some sort. Who the hell knows? They might have another one, coming up here at the end of the summer, right after SummerSlam, maybe, with the new Fox deal coming into play. AEW going to be on TNT. Don't know at this point in time, though, either what day of the week it's going to be on. They did not announce that. However, they did announce in the past couple weeks it is going to be on TNT, so we'll see how that all goes, but there's going to be a lot of wrestling on TV one way or another, and I'm going to have a lot of wrestling videos right here on Gridiron Ring's YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe. Also, more football videos to come this upcoming football season for both college and the NFL. So, Money in the Bank 2019, this past Sunday, May the 19th, in Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out to Kane. May 19th is his day. So we had Tony Nese and Arari Davari battle it out for the Cruiserweight Championship and then Tony Nese ended up winning with a running Nese to retain his cruiserweight belt. So Tony Nese still your cruiserweight champion after Money in the Bank 2019, after he won the cruiserweight championship, his first ever cruiserweight title at WrestleMania, the last pay-per-view before Money in the Bank, over Buddy Murphy. Now the next pay-per-view coming up, as I said there a moment ago, will be WWE Super Showdown on June the 7th. But before that, 6 days before, the Saturday before next Saturday, June the 1st, we got AEW Double or Nothing this Saturday, May 25th. Hopefully everybody has a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. This upcoming weekend, as Memorial Day is on Monday, and thank you to everybody in the United States military, past and present. So NXT TakeOver 25 will be in Bridgeport, Connecticut on June the 1st, and then WWE Super Showdown over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on June the 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And if I do end up doing live reactions, play-by-play of that event, and more than likely I will, I might start it a little late because at that point in time, at 2 o'clock, I don't believe I'm going to be home. If I do get home, it's not going to be until 3:30, quarter to 4. So by that point, hour and a half, almost 2 hours in a Super Showdown. Super Showdown this year in Saudi Arabia, Showdown last year in Australia. The Saudi Arabia shows last year were the Greatest Royal Rumble and then Crown Jewel. So it looks like WWE going to be continuing Super Showdown, whether or not it's going to be in Australia, Saudi Arabia, maybe they have it in the U.S. or another country next year. We'll have to see. But if I do live reactions to that, I will do TakeOver 25 on June the 1st, so be sure to tune in. But if I do Saudi Arabia Super Showdown, I'll be starting it late more than likely, because I doubt I'll be home at 2 o'clock Eastern Time to see the start of Super Showdown 2019. And we do have some matches on that card at this point as well. Let me get those pulled up here real quick, just so I can relay that to you folks as well. So 1 second real quick here. WWE Super Showdown 2019. The matches at this point in time on Thursday, May the 23rd, 2019. We're going to have another 50-man Battle Royal. They had this at Greatest Royal Rumble last year, end of April in Saudi Arabia. Hopefully Titus O'Neil does not trip and fall underneath the ring this time around, though. Also, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley in a singles match. Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon, they announced that on Raw this past week, because Roman is done with Elias at this point in time. Shane also done with The Miz, but Drew McIntyre is Shane McMahon's enforcer now. So Roman Reigns and Shane in a singles match. Finn Balor and Andrade for the Intercontinental Championship as well. And then Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler will battle it out for the WWE Championship. And I am currently watching the Pittsburgh Pirate game as well. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what that is. And now Josh Bell, of all people, just hit another home run. So go check out my tweet from yesterday. He hit one into the Allegheny River once again, second one in about a 3-week span. So go retweet that tweet. Someone say Josh Bell in the home run derby this year, I believe I tweeted, were the exact words. So he just went yard again, as the Pirates are leading the Colorado Rockies 9-6 in the bottom of the 7th inning. No outs. Melky Cabrera up to bat, ball one. And this pitch here, right down the middle, and hit it left center field, right in the bullpen. And I believe he now has 15 plus home runs on the season, and it's not even the end of May, and he has 2 of those home runs. He sent those into the Allegheny River over the right field wall. So Josh Bell leading the majors. He's really hot right now. I think he should be an all-star. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about that. Wild pitch, no one on bases, so no one's going to advance. But I think he should be an all-star this year. He's really lighting the league on fire right now, I'll say that. But I think he should be an all-star and in the home run derby. But enough with baseball. I'm talking wrestling. So Cabrera actually goes down on strikes looking. But maybe I'll do live reactions play of baseball in the future as well. Who the hell knows? I'm sticking to football and wrestling. And like I said on Sunday on Periscope, I still am planning on doing flashback live reactions of older college and NFL football games and wrestling events, WWE in particular. But there's a shitload of content on the WWE network and on YouTube as well, right here on YouTube. So if I find something from, other promotions, especially AEW now with them coming to the fold, I very well could, and I am thinking about it as well, doing live reactions play of the TV show when that comes out in the fall on TNT. Don't know what it's going to be called or what night of the week it's going to be on either. Like I said there a moment ago, but I might do Double or Nothing on Saturday. I still haven't made my mind about that. But just follow me on social media, GoHandLuke96. Links in the description below. So back to wrestling, back to Money in the Bank and then Raw and SmackDown. I know I'm rambling on here, just spitballing some information. To all the listeners to Gridiron Ring right here on YouTube, so thank you for the continued support. Also had one match on the pre-show. It was Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending their SmackDown Live tag titles versus the Usos, who they defeated on SmackDown like 2 weeks before this, after the Hardy Boys had to relinquish the titles due to Jeff Hardy's injury, and he'll be on the shelf for about 6 to 9, maybe 12 months. So Matt Hardy, maybe they bring back Big Money Matt. We'll have to find out and see. But Daniel Bryan and Rowan defended versus the Usos. And even though the Usos are on Raw with the Superstar Shakeup, new wildcard rule came into play. Vince McMahon implemented that on Raw, probably 3 weeks ago now. And you can have up to 4, sometimes 5. They did 5 the one night on Raw or SmackDown, I believe it was. It was probably Raw because Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown only 2. With the wildcard rule, you can have 4 superstars from Raw show up on SmackDown at any given point, and vice versa. 4 SmackDown superstars on Raw at any given point as well. And then with the new WWE 24/7 Championship, which is basically just the hardcore title, it can be defended anytime, anywhere. You just have to have a referee by your side. And like I said, I'll get to that here in a second when I get into a quick Raw and SmackDown recap. As I know, like I said, I'm rambling on. I'm already, close to the 15-minute mark here. I would have only liked this video as a whole in its entirety to be about 15 to 20 minutes, but it might be double than that now. But it really doesn't matter either. But it is what it is. But the Usos, even though they're on Raw with the Superstar Shakeup, they can show up on SmackDown at any given point as well. I believe they did the one night. So they're your SmackDown. Yeah, they did, because the match with Daniel Bryan and Rowan, like I said there, versus the Usos on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, after the Hardy Boys gave up the titles. But then the Usos, they won on the Money in the Bank pre-show to become SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. Once again, Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe, they battled it out for the United States Championship. Rey won a quick match, so 2 pay-per-views in a row. They really haven't given the United States Championship a whole lot of time since Samoa Joe won it at the SmackDown Live that I actually attended in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania on, I believe it was March the 5th. Yeah, it was a week before my birthday, yeah. So, and I was at the Raw on my birthday, actually the 11th, a week later, 6 days later, the day after Fastlane, back in March, right before WrestleMania. So since then, they really haven't given the U.S. title a whole lot of time. Quick match at WrestleMania. Joe won in like a minute because Rey was hurt. Rey won, though, at Money in the Bank. So Rey Mysterio, your new United States champion. But then that was also a quick match, and there was some controversy with it as well. Joe's left shoulder didn't look like it was down the whole way, but I have heard WWE just playing the crowd now with the officials messing up all the time. So they're doing that on purpose. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, it's still happening one way or another. But Rey Mysterio, new United States champion, but then I guess he is still injured. So why take the title off of Joe unless they are going to have him, go into, something bigger and better, hopefully, maybe in a feud with Lashley and Strowman. It was supposed to be Joe and Strowman for the U.S. title after the shakeup, more than likely, but that never panned out. That never happened. They put that on the back burner and haven't touched it since. But next week on Raw, they're going to have the State of the United States Championship with Rey Mysterio reportedly injured once again. So they might have a U.S., open challenge, battle royal of some sort maybe to determine the next U.S. champion. But now at the same time, you have the 24/7 title on the line. And with that, like I said, it can be defended anytime, anywhere. Titus O'Neil was actually the first inaugural champion for the 24/7 belt. And then Bobby Roode defeated him. And then R-Truth defeated Bobby Roode. And then R-Truth, still your 24/7 champion after SmackDown Live this week. But superstars from Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK are in line. They can vie and go after the 24/7 championship anytime they wish. So what they did with that, and I'll get to that now, I guess, for the hell of it, since I'm talking about it. I know I said I was going to talk about it a little later on, but that was a little while ago now, so I guess now is the right time to talk about it. Mick Foley came out, introduced the new title. Everybody thought it was going to be the Hardcore title. Basically, the 24/7 title is the Hardcore Championship, because remember the Hardcore title, it could be defended anytime, anywhere. You just had to have a referee with you. Okay? You could, get pinned out in the damn parking lot, for God's sakes, and become a new champion. That actually happened on Raw this past week. But Foley came out, introduced the title, and then they had, and it's basically just going to be a jobber title to give them something to do, but it is better than nothing, because I've said time and time again, they have too many superstars and not enough time. I know they have 12 plus, maybe pushing 15 championship belts now with all the brands, especially the main roster with Raw and SmackDown, because you have the two main, WWE and Universal, the tag, the women's, the Intercontinental, the US, even the NXT UK, their tag belts, the 205 Live as well. Brian Reynolds, 3-run shot in the bottom of the 7th. Pirates now lead 12-6 over the Colorado Rockies, so let's go Bucks. Brian Reynolds also lighting the league on fire. A rookie that the Pirates actually got in a trade for Andrew McCutcheon last year, and he spent time in the minors there for a little while before he got called up middle of April, about a month ago now, because Corey Dickerson was hurt. Brian Reynolds, one of the hottest bats in the National League, if not the majors, along with Josh Bell as well. So future looking bright for the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So let's go Bucks. But they had all these jobbers come out. I shouldn't say jobbers, but EC3 was out there, Noah Jose was out there, Titus O'Neil was out there, Eric Young, trying to think off the top of my head who else was out there, Gallows and Anderson. They actually grabbed it at the same time and looked at each other and then got taken out by somebody. But then, in the meantime, too, the title's just laying in the ring. I forgot to mention that. So, yeah, the title's just laying in the ring, and they're just fighting after it. And then Titus O'Neil got it, became your inaugural champion. And then, at that point as well, too, he was walking up the ramp. Then Bobby Roode had a ref with him, came out from behind, from the entrance, and quick roll-up pin to become the new champion. And then Robert Roode, I should say, not Bobby Roode anymore, it's Robert Roode, but I'm still calling him Bobby Roode because that's his name even though Robert Roode is his real name, and all he is looking like a Rick Rude, Joey Ryan 2019, because he just has the mustache now. If you guys did not know, but he's just running around backstage. Everybody's just chasing after him, and then he hid in the trunk of a car that R-Truth had, his rental car for the week, and then everybody ran by. They asked Truth if they saw him. If he saw him, he said no. Rude got out of the trunk then, and then Rude was like to Truth, "Can I get a ride?" "Yeah, sure, hop in the front seat." And then Rude was about ready to get in the passenger seat, and then a ref was sitting in the passenger seat, which was funny. Okay, like, I get they're going to make it, a comedic segment. And, yeah, with the ratings, I guess, and especially bringing back Brock Lesnar as well. Like I said, I'll get to that here in a second, too. Ratings might be going up, but Firefly Funhouse, in my opinion, is the best thing that they got going for them right now. But everybody has their own opinion, so you guys can let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about all that. Starling Marte now. Pirates going yard a lot today. They were up actually 8-0, and then the Rockies scored 6 in a row, 8-6. Now it's 14-6. Starling Marte, 2-run shot also in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs here today, Thursday, May the 23rd, 2019. So 14-6 now is your score. No, this isn't the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Denver Broncos 14-6. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates over the Colorado Rockies 14-6 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rude got in the passenger seat, opened the door, ref got out, and then Truth rolled him up in the parking lot, as I said, real quick, and became your new 24/7 champion. And then as well, on SmackDown, he dressed up in drag like Carmella and was hiding from everybody. And the B team almost got him. Somebody else almost got him as well. And he ended up running away and got out of Providence, Rhode Island, where SmackDown Live was this week. Still your 24/7 champion. So we'll have to see if they use this on the social media platforms that they have or not. I mean, for now at least, I would say just keep it on TV on Raw and SmackDown. But I thought on SmackDown, since Truth is on SmackDown, he showed up on Raw, with the wild card role. At the end of SmackDown, they'd have somebody from 205 Live then to become champion, to get people to tune in to see what was going to happen on 205 Live then, because the 205 Live superstar then at that point would be your 24/7 champion. And then an NXT guy to lead into NXT on Wednesday, NXT UK as well. So I get with travel and everything, you're not going to be able to do that all the damn time, but still, it makes sense, I think, if they would do it like that, leading into pay-per-views as well on the weekend, and house shows as well. I guess it's going to be able to be defended at house shows too, because Mick Foley said anytime, anywhere. So we'll see what happens with 24/7 title, but new title, obviously, new championship. So we'll see how it goes. But I did hear earlier today as well too, the USA Network, they were the ones who thought about the idea and let WWE know about it. This was one of the ideas, and this is what WWE ended up decided to go with. So like I said, we'll see what happens. But also at Money in the Bank, I know I'm still rambling on, so hopefully you guys are still listening and enjoying. If you are, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke 96, on social media. So Rey Mysterio, new U.S. champion, Usos, new SmackDown Live tag champs, and then Tony Nese, still your Cruiserweight champion up to this point. Roman Reigns also defeated Elias. This started out Roman Reigns walking backstage. Elias walked up from behind him, smashed him with an acoustic guitar, and then Elias went out, played an electric guitar, and Elias thought he was done. He thought his segment was done and over with. Walking up the ramp, here comes the big dog Roman Reigns. His music hits, and Superman punch on top of the ramp, and then a spear in the ring after the bell rings, and a quick 5-second match. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns defeats the Drifter. Elias. Shane McMahon also defeated The Miz in their steel cage match on Sunday at WWE Money in the Bank. It was a decent match. I mean, for it to end the feud for now, it was alright. It could have been a little bit better. There really wasn't a whole lot of high spots that I would have liked, at least, especially with Shane McMahon in a steel cage match, for God's sakes. But like I said, it is what it is. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, they are your Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Champions. So we thought Becky actually had 2 matches. I'll get back to Shane. Well, I talked about Shane and The Miz there a minute ago. Shane's going to be facing Roman now at Super Showdown. Miz still in the fold a little bit, it looks like. But we'll see what happens there. But I just want to touch on that because I literally just thought about it as I moved on. So bear with me. Sorry about that. But Becky Lynch had 2 matches. And I actually, hopefully you guys checked out my prediction video there last week. But Becky Lynch, 2 matches. She faced Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's title and then faced Charlotte for the SmackDown Live Women's title. I got both of them right. I picked Becky to beat Lacey and Charlotte to beat Becky. Those happened, but earlier in the night, Bayley won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Bayley defeated Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella to become the Women's Money in the Bank winner this year. And then she cashed in as well. So 3 straight years now. Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and now Bayley. They all won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and then they all cashed in and were successful in doing so. Alexa Bliss and Bayley, 2 straight years now, on the same night. Bayley cashed in on Charlotte to become the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. So Becky Lynch and now Bayley are your Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Champs. Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins are still your WWE and Universal Champions. Kofi defeated Kevin Owens, who will now not be competing at Super Showdown. Sami Zayn. Elias will probably be there. Who knows what he'll do? Probably have a concert or something like he did at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Aleister Black, and there's somebody else that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. They will not be attending Super Showdown on June the 7th over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Women will not be competing on the show either, once again, due to the Saudi Arabia rule. They don't allow women to wrestle, so Kevin Owens not going either. So now at Super Showdown, it'll be Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, as I said there a little bit ago, I believe, when I was talking about Super Showdown. Kofi Kingston, and if I didn't, I just did. So Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship at Super Showdown. Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon as well, Finn Balor, Andrade, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, 50-man Battle Royal. And then also, I did not announce these, I know I didn't, Triple H and Randy Orton in a singles match. Triple H defeated Batista of Evolution at WrestleMania 35. Now we'll be facing Randy Orton at Super Showdown in 2 of the last 3 pay-per-views now for the WWE. Goldberg and Undertaker will be the main event of the evening. So 2 50-plus-year-old wrestlers in the main event of the WWE pay-per-view in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, of all places. So Goldberg and the Phenom, The Undertaker. Who's next for Goldberg? It's The Undertaker. We'll see how that match goes. So yeah, that's what they have in store at this point in time for Super Showdown. Like I said, Kofi and Rollins, they retain their titles. I know I was going to say something else. Well, I was talking about who's not going to Saudi Arabia for Super Showdown. Yeah, it's Owens, Zayn, Aleister Black, and there's somebody else as well. I can't think of off the top of my head. Oh well. If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. Also, at Money in the Bank, and surprisingly, Kofi and Owens, that was the co-main event. I thought Rollins and Styles would have been the co-main event, but Rollins Styles still ended up being the best match of the night, either way anyway. So in the main event of the evening, though, at Money in the Bank, and then a quick Raw and SmackDown recap, basically I already talked about the 24/7 title. Firefly Funhouse really wasn't anything special this week. So, I mean, we'll see what they have in store with that, too. I mean, like I said, I think that's the best thing that they got going for them right now, but especially with the ratings the way they are. But now, bringing back Lesnar, introducing a new title. I know ratings did go up this past week for both, but still, they're not where they obviously would like them to be. But, storyline-wise, if the storylines were a tad bit better, people probably would watch. If the wrestling was a tad bit better as well, if they give them more time. I know they gave the tag team division a shit ton of time right before and right after WrestleMania there. And I talked about that, and then they did it. So whether or not WWE's listening, I don't know, beats me. Hopefully you guys are. If you are, hit me up on Twitter, ColehandLuke96. Would love to work for the World Wrestling Entertainment Company, the WWE. But if they gave them time, and I think now with the 24/7 title, I know it's going to be jam-packed with that title and all the other titles, all the other stories that they have going. If they would make SmackDown 3 hours, have the third hour be on Fox Sports 1 or whatnot, come October. Even if they made NXT live and had the 24/7 title on that every once in a while, or had NXT guys up on the main roster, and I think they will too, because obviously anybody and everybody's eligible for the 24/7 title. Ratings I think will go up eventually. And like I said, who knows if they've ever been this bad. I don't think they have, but they were bad there for a little while. I mean, there was a week or so I really didn't even get around to watching wrestling, and that's why I just decided, especially with the summer coming up, and then football season as well, as I said earlier, I'm only going to be doing Raw and SmackDown recaps from January to April, with WrestleMania season in there as well. But back to Money in the Bank. I'll try to end this as quick as I can now. Money in the Bank, the main event, the ladder match for the men. We've seen better men's Money in the Bank ladder matches, better ladder matches in general. I mean, I thought they would have gave it at least like an hour, but they ended Money in the Bank at 20 till 10, or 20 till 11, 10:40 on Sunday. I thought the pay-per-view was going to go to at least 11 o'clock Eastern time, but they cut it short for some reason. I don't know why, but in the main event, it was actually supposed to be Braun Strowman versus all these other competitors. And then Sami Zayn replaced Braun Strowman. And then Sami Zayn was replaced. Okay, so we're trying to figure out who the eighth man was going to be. But it ended up being Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, who was my pick to win Money in the Bank, and he should have won, but he didn't. And Baron Corbin from Raw versus Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. Anything goes, no disqualification. It's a ladder match, for God's sakes. It's for the Money in the Bank, which can really change the future of the WWE if they allow it to. If they don't have whoever wins cash in, real quick, or cash in unsuccessful in doing so, like the past two winners, Corbin and Strowman, the past 2 years. But then we found out who the eighth man was going to be right at the tail end of the match. Like I said, the match was alright. We've seen better Money in the Bank ladder matches in the past. The eighth man ended up being the Beast Incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar. Ali, who was supposed to win, other than McIntyre, was at the top of the ladder, about ready to grab the briefcase, and then Lesnar's music hit. He literally ran down the ramp, took out ladders left and right. I guess he injured 2 cameramen as well in the process. And then he got in the ring, took the ladder down that had Ali on it, actually propped that ladder back up, laughing his ass off as he climbs the ladder, and then he grabbed the briefcase, sat on top of the ladder, and then closing credits, Brock Lesnar laughing, holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it gives him and Heyman another talking piece as well, so it is smart to some extent. I mean, why not get Brock Lesnar the Money in the Bank? I get, okay, obviously he was probably still going to automatically get a rematch versus Rollins at Saudi Arabia as well. You know, maybe they have, because they teased on Raw as well, I'll get to that here in a second, Kofi, Rollins, and Lesnar maybe in a triple threat, or say Rollins loses to Lesnar and then Brock cashes in on Kofi. We just had Becky 2 belts. What about Brock 2 belts? Brock as your Universal and WWE Champion. Or Brock maybe as the Universal Champion and still your Money in the Bank winner. Say he loses the title, he still has the briefcase for up to a year. So Brock Lesnar has until next year, Monday, May the 19th, maybe Tuesday with a leap year, I'll have to check. He has until May the 19th, 2020 to cash in his green Money in the Bank briefcase. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they let him hold on to it for quite a while, because it, you know, keeps people guessing, especially with the way the ratings are right now. It keeps people wanting to tune in week in and week out then at that point. But they, in my opinion, should have had Drew McIntyre win, but Brock Lesnar won. I would have been fine with Ricochet, Corbin, Balor, Andrade, and Orton. I don't like all these, so if he would have won, I probably would have been pissed on Sunday. But Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, your Money in the Bank winner. Also some news on the 2020 College Football Bowl schedule. This season's College Football postseason schedule announced, featuring full dates for all 35 bowl games covered by ESPN. There should be some other bowl games as well on some other networks like CBS and Fox, with the Sun Bowl, the one out in Santa Clara, the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl, or whatever the hell it's called. So Raw now. I mean, like I said, they teased Lesnar with Rollins, Lesnar with Kofi. Pirates win 14-6 over the Rockies. Game just went final, and now the Pirates will host the Dodgers Memorial Day weekend, this upcoming weekend. So as I said earlier, hopefully everybody has a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. AEW, Double or Nothing on Saturday, May the 25th. So Lesnar, he came out to kick off Raw, holding the briefcase like a boombox. He's laughing his ass off still. It's pretty funny, to be honest with you. The opening segment, though, with Lesnar and Kofi and Rollins just kept people guessing on what Lesnar's going to end up doing. Like I said, they teased it both ways, and then they kept people guessing to stick around until the end of the night as well, whether or not Lesnar was going to cash in on either Kofi or Rollins, because they were in tag team action in the main event. And I'll get to that here in a second. Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn, they had a match. It was alright. Braun ended up winning. Sami then was on SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Kevin Owens came out, and then Sami came out, and then Kevin just walked out. So the reports then came out afterwards saying that he wasn't going to go to Saudi Arabia. So that's how they write him off TV. They just have him walk out. It doesn't look like Kevin Owens is going to be on WWE TV for the next couple of weeks. Lars Sullivan as well, like I said, he faced off versus the Lucha House Party on Monday. It was supposed to be a 6-man tag. That never happened. He took them all out and did the same thing on Raw the next night. Ricochet and Cesaro, decent match. I don't get why they're burying Ricochet now. I don't. I mean, he had everything going for him coming up from NXT right before WrestleMania, and then still competing in NXT at that point in time as well with Aleister Black, but then they split them up. Aleister's on SmackDown now, and ever since that, Ricochet's been getting buried on Raw. Why? I don't know. He took a lot of bumps on Sunday, was wearing a little back brace on Monday night because of the damage he took at Money in the Bank on Sunday, but Cesaro defeated Ricochet on Monday Night Raw this past week. Cesaro actually debuted a new gimmick as well with some new entrance music because Sheamus is still on the shelf with an injury, with a concussion. So we'll see what they have in store for both of those superstars. Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns, they set up their match with a little segment at the either right before the 9 o'clock hour or the 9 o'clock hour on Raw this past week. I can't remember, but this was all just to set up their match at Saudi Arabia. And then Drew McIntyre was introduced as Shane McMahon's enforcer for the time being. Usos and the Revival ended up winning. And for this, the Usos are still your SmackDown Tag Champs. They can still show up on SmackDown at any given point with the wild card role in effect. Moment of Bliss. Alexa Bliss still injured. She was pulled from the women's ladder match and replaced by Nikki Cross. But they had a moment of bliss with Alexa, Becky. Nikki Cross was out there as well. Lacey Evans and the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. And then that ended up setting up a tag team match, if I'm not mistaken, with it was Becky and Nikki versus the Iconics. It's actually a 6-woman tag, on that. It's actually a 6-woman tag, but Alexa did not partake whatsoever. She just stood ringside with a cup of coffee. So it was Becky and Nikki versus the Iconics and Lacey Evans. At this point as well, Mick Foley introduced the 24/7 Championship. I already talked about that, so I'm not going to get into that anymore. And then The Miz versus Drew McIntyre in a singles match. It went on too damn long, I thought. McIntyre ended up winning by pinfall, but I get, obviously still they're trying to push Drew. They should have had him won the Money in the Bank, but they didn't. Miz still in the fold, like I said, with Shane, but some of these stories with the storylines, I don't know where they're going to go with it, so I'm sorry if I really can't give you a true explanation on what I really think of some of these things are going on in the company right now, especially with how bad the stories have been and the ratings and everything. I mean, this is why people aren't watching, for God's sake. So it is what it is when it's all said and done, though. They're still going to do what they want, and I get that, and people are still going to tune in and watch, though, too. So, and hopefully they do, if they aren't right now. But main event time then, the tag team match, it was no disqualification. Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston versus Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. And then Kofi and Seth ended up winning. And then Lesnar came out and just trolled everybody. Didn't do a damn thing. So they're going to keep people guessing for weeks to come with Brock Lesnar as your Money in the Bank winner. Then on SmackDown, Big E made his return to the New Day. He ended up getting injured later on. Kofi was in the main event once again. Andrade and Ali kicked things off, though, and Ali ended up winning by pinfall, so it looks like they're going to continue giving him a push as well. Mandy Rose and Carmella, they faced off. R-Truth was out there as well. Then that's when everybody started chasing him around, and then R-Truth ended up getting away, still your 24/7 champ, as I said earlier. So Mandy Rose and Carmella ended in a no contest because the bell rang after the ref called for it, after all the competitors chased after R-Truth. Kofi and Sammy, it was a decent match in the main event, but Kofi ended up winning by pinfall, and like I said, doesn't look like Sammy or Kevin Owens are going to be on WWE TV anytime soon because of Saudi Arabia. Bayley and Becky Lynch as well on SmackDown versus Charlotte and Lacey Evans. Bayley and Becky won. Decent match, not really anything in particular. And then Dolph Ziggler returned as well, and he basically was just saying that Kofi took his spot, because he wasn't around. Kofi took Ali's spot. Kofi took Dolph's spot. They bring Dolph back in the fold because they don't have anybody else to face off versus Kofi at WWE Super Showdown because Owens is not going. Daniel Bryan, he's the other one who is not going. So it's Owens, Zayn, Aleister Black, and Daniel Bryan who are not going to Super Showdown on June the 7th. So we'll see what happens, but Kofi will still be your WWE champion after Super Showdown. And then Stomping Grounds, Extreme Rules, saw Extreme Rules advertised Kofi, Owens, and Ziggler in a triple threat. So we'll see if that does indeed happen come the middle of July. So actually the main event of the evening, the Kofi-Sammy match was earlier in the night. I don't know why I thought that was the main event for some reason. I did watch Raw and SmackDown though this past week. So it's been a couple weeks from hell, to be honest with you. So you just got to keep trucking though, folks. You just got to move on because life does, in fact, go on. Roman Reigns and Elias, they faced off versus one another, and Roman Reigns ended up winning. Not really a whole lot happened on SmackDown this past week. I mean, it was an all-right show, but they're just going to continue these storylines for the next couple weeks before Super Showdown. Get that set up, and then Stomping Grounds. Lesnar should appear on both are on SmackDown week in and week out, to be honest with you, even though his contract really doesn't say that, because he is the Money in the Bank winner. He can cash in on anybody at any given point, but we'll see what they do. But yeah, Raw and SmackDown, they were alright this week. I mean, moving past Money in the Bank, I get that. Super Showdown, Stomping Grounds, Extreme Rules, SummerSlam, where I think Roman Reigns will defeat Kofi Kingston to become your new WWE champion. Lesnar might become Universal Champion again as well if they decide to do that. We'll see, but I think Rollins is better off being Universal Champion because he is there every single week. So yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions following WWE Money in the Bank 2019. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit the little thumbs up button. Also share this on social media. Like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, CoolHandLuke96, on social media. Especially follow me on Periscope, CoolHandLuke96 as well, because as I said on Sunday night, I don't know the next time I'll be live on Periscope doing live reactions play of older college and NFL football games, flashback live reactions as I'm calling it, or WWE pay-per-views right now. Well, I will be on for Stomping Grounds, Extreme Rules, and SummerSlam. TakeOver 25 and TakeOver before SummerSlam, I would think they'd have one of those too. But then, like I said, for Super Showdown, I don't know about that at this point in time, like I said earlier. But then AEW Double or Nothing, still don't know if I'm going to order that on pay-per-view or not, or when I'm going to start doing flashback live reactions of WWE events. So just follow me on Periscope, CoolHandLuke96. Link is in the description below, and I hope to see everybody now next time I'm live, whenever that might be. And then hopefully you guys will continue viewing these videos. Always thankful for the continued support. I will have predictions for Super Showdown, Stomping Grounds, Extreme Rules, and NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam there in August. Will not be doing a prediction video for TakeOver 25 though next week. So once again, guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thumbs up button, like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links are in the description below.